Man, I don't know what's worse. When you meet someone, they smell like a Sunday seafood boil bag that been sitting in the back of a 2002 Honda, or it taken me like 6+ months to beat the game. Probably more. Listen, yo, how many videos has it been? I've been playing this game in the background for almost a year, and I finally beat it. I have like 4 hours pre-recorded put in the background for probably the next 10 to 20 videos or so. But boy, let me give y'all a history lesson. You know who recommended this? Why I started playing Elden Ring? My best friend told me, Aku, you said you like Skyrim, you like playing all these games, you like playing roleplay games, right? Well, Elden Ring, the lore is so deep and you can roleplay and all this stuff. It's free roaming. Bro, I was too busy getting mad over bosses to immerse myself in any sort of roleplay. This game makes me miss playing Skyrim or New Vegas even. Like, I feel like playing New Vegas. Like I said in videos, my objective when I started playing this game, y'all remember? I said was to play a starry slash moon based theme aesthetic build. Nothing serious. I just want to play casual. Kind of want to role play a little bit of obviously, like I said, it was the bosses. So, but finally beat it. I enjoyed it. I have some opinions about the game and a few notes, but every time I make game reviews, people get angry because no one ever agrees with me. So, hey, whatever. I'm just gonna say it anyway. First things first. This game's community is either filled with unaccomplished grown adults who project their failures onto other players, or it's filled with people with anger issues and like bleeding egos. This wasn't just happening on YouTube, but when I would look up stuff about bosses, the lore, weapons, equipment, and so forth, no matter where I went, every place was plagued with people acting like they collected all pieces of Exodia, collected all the Dragon Balls. I've seen like Reddit posts. Reddit is a bad example, I know, because Reddit is always toxic and people are crying all the time. People on Reddit, like there were people who weren't really gamers clearly asking for help on like an Elden Ring subreddit, and their replies were just straight up rude and belittling. Like people are salty to reply to people. Like, what I'm saying? People aren't salty about playing. People are mad that someone's asking a question. If you go to YouTube videos and watch boss fights, people in the comments always complaining about someone's build. Nobody's ever happy in this community, it seems like. What's going on with y'all? Like, you play a sorcerer, right? People are mad because it's too easy. You play a samurai, you're a tryhard. You play a prophet, you're a min-maxer or a cheeser. I saw a comment on my YouTube video where someone was crying because I was using potions in a boss battle? Right? I need to heal, cuh. I need mana, cuh. What's the point of the potion mechanic? Like, this community is just so toxic. So it actually encouraged me because I kept seeing this very early, because you can see I'm late in the game in the background footage now, but this was talking about months ago too. Like, I saw this so early when I started playing this game that I just started playing blind completely. For the most part, I just played blind. I was like, hey, I'm not reading what anyone's saying anymore. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you guys would like leave advice or feedback in YouTube comments, you notice, no disrespect, don't take it personally, but you notice that I acknowledge what you wrote, but I never took your advice because I can't take anyone serious anymore from the Elden Ring community, or I can't even know if you're from the Elden Ring community. I just, every time I see something related to Elden Ring with people like leaving feedback or comments, I just think, all right, someone, I don't know what to take serious anymore. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know who's saying something out of spite or who's saying something to be try hard. You know what I'm saying? But that's a community thing, right? The second thing I actually heavily enjoyed about this game, though, is the lore. When I first started playing, I was confused because the game seems to normalize death. Like, okay, you die in other games, it's like, it's GG. But in this game, it's actually forgivable to die. Then, as I started getting more into the game, right, deeper into the story, I kept seeing Gnostic themes being paralleled. The greater will that's mentioned in this game acts very much like the Demiurge in Gnosticism, where in Gnosticism, they believe the god of earth is actually ignorant, incompetent, as a deity, of course, which explains God's angry and wrath-like behavior in the Bible to Gnostics, okay? Gnostics believe that the God of the Bible, the Demiurge, is not the actual ultimate source of infinite love, light, and truth. And the Demiurge constantly traps souls within our physical bodies or within the physical plane, never allowing us to leave this physical or materialistic plane of existence. It feeds off of the flawed world it created, which being Earth. So in Elden Ring, the greater will, deity, or whatever it is, does the same thing, where it promotes oppression, restrictiveness, and it created a flawed world filled with suffering and stagnation, which is the lands between, the essential world that we played the game Elden Ring in. When I mentioned the Demiurge in Gnosticism keeps us trapped in the physical world or the physical plane, right? The greater will does the same thing, which goes back to the thing I mentioned about death being normalized in this game. The greater will traps people in this world, and you're constantly reborn and reanimated. It's like you can't truly die in this game. The Tarnished, which is our character, it is a good example of this. You know, after we die or we're slain or whatever, we'll return to life because we are, quote, guided by grace. And there are some things in this game that I noticed were related to trying to escape the cycle. Some of the sorcerers in this game, I forgot what it's called. It's like a big part of the game too. I don't know why it's just like escaping my mind. It's like the whole magic school or whatever. If I understand correctly, when I was playing, I noticed that some sorcerer groups or guilds, whatever, they were trying to find secret knowledge or power or true understanding for whatever purpose this life is. And in some cases, I was interpreting some of what was being told here, what I was understanding here, as maybe even they were trying to find true understanding or knowledge to perhaps break the dogma of the Golden Order. Queen Marika's entire plan is similar. The frenzied flame may be also related to where they wanted to deal with this cycle, this world of being so destructive that I just felt like everyone in this game seems to be trying to find a solution to deal with the flawed world. I never took any of the enemies in this game as like pure chaotic evil, which, in my opinion, a little tangent, I don't like when people create characters in video games that are just like, they just born to life, they're a psychopath. Like, you know, they're like pure chaotic evil. Like they just have no purpose. They just want to be evil. They want to be destructive. I didn't feel like any of the, everyone felt like they had a purpose to fulfill, in the lore wise at least, besides some of the really, really, really lesser entities, of course. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of entities and bad guys and stuff like that, you got to defeat them, right? Combat in this game was fun to me. I didn't like, though, any of the gimmicky bosses. Forgot the name. Oh my god. I forgot the name because I disliked this guy so much. Oh, the God-devouring serpent. This battle, I didn't enjoy this battle at all. This is what I mean by gimmicky. That battle is pure gimmick. Like, I wasn't a fan of anything. Like, oh, same with the fire giant. That felt gimmicky too. The fire giant is the boss that actually took me the longest to defeat, by the way. I have hours upon hours of footage of me losing to the fire giant. Never put it out there. You just see me skip through the whole thing pretty much. Like, you know, like this was the first time I actually almost quit the game. But this is what I was talking about. I played the game blind, and this is what happens when you play the game blind. I'm going to mention something about this later about this game's direction, by the way. But I had to look up how to beat him. And again, I completely tuned out what the people in the community were saying. What I did was I watched a YouTube video of a sorcerer doing it, and I just copied him exactly. I didn't want to read comments. Any video with commentary, I muted it. Like, don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I just want to watch what you're doing. I'm just going to copy it, okay? Because apparently y'all are beating this guy. You'll see in upcoming videos, and maybe it's showing in this footage, I'm starting to just roam around and collect loot, by the way. Like, I was following the main quest, and now you're seeing me just, like, kind of goof around. Once I burned the Erd tree, I felt so under leveled. So I went to do other quests, and eventually, actually, no. I got this already in an older video, but I got this summon or this item called the Mimic Tear, right? I played with it until I beat the game. You're going to see it to the rest of my gameplay footage in future videos. It literally beat bosses for me solo, this Mimic Tear thing. It just duplicated me pretty much. I faced the Lord of Blood guy, this guy that, you know, he was doing this thing that was like giving me blood loss. You'll see my Mimic Tear basically stomped him. You'll see later, when I met him, you'll see the cutscene play, right? And I beat him in one shot. It was dirty. I never died to him. When I looked up this summon, apparently it got nerfed. I mean, but man, it doesn't feel like it got nerfed. It basically wiped bosses for me, and it's distracting too. You know, it'll do damage, and then the boss will just look at them and keep hitting them, and it'll tank hits. It'll tank all the hits. It didn't really take the fun away from me because You know, like you'd be like, Aku, what's the point of another of like a summon being the whole game for you? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of whack. But you know, it didn't bother me because it made me laugh seeing this game and seeing this happen. You know, it was amusing more than anything. I needed a laugh once in a while instead of raging over this game. But speaking of bosses and stuff, I say I don't like gimmicks, right? But I would say most to all of the bosses were fun to play against mostly. I could tell some bosses were literally designed to be frustrating rather than fun to play. The Goskin duo thing, I could tell that felt like someone was trying to aggravate like the player. You know, but you'll see later on, the mimic tier also does the work for me. But after playing this game for months, I just kind of figured out that's the whole point of the game, to aggravate you, you know? So like I didn't, you know, I just noticed it. I was like, oh wow, okay, so this boss seems to be designed to annoy people. But anyway, it's toxic. But I'm just gonna keep playing. The last thing I want to note is that, and this is a critique really, some things in this game are so cryptic to the point where I had a complete lack of direction. And this is what I meant about the fire giant. Like, I just didn't know what to do. Like, I was going at the feet, right? You had to take at the ankle or whatever. And I was like, you know, I love freedom in games, but sometimes there was a lack of clarity to what I was supposed to do next. Following the sights of grace is not enough. Like, my best friend, the one who told me to play the game, said, just keep going towards the Erd tree. I was like, you know, like, sometimes you try to do that, or you try to follow the sights of grace, and you go down a path that where you stumble in an area that is meant for higher levels. Like you go in the wrong direction. And that happened to me a lot. You saw in older footage, I was under leveled in some areas early game. And I just ended up there because I was lost. Or like I would try to do an NPC quest line. This is the worst, by the way. Okay, this is horrible. The NPC quest lines are the biggest lack of direction ever. Like, I had to hop on Wiki for help so many times. What I noticed, due to the lack of direction in my free roaming, is that, you know, it did open me up to some parts of the game that felt like some bosses or dungeons were, like, repetitive, to the point where you'll even see in some footage, I already am anticipating what's going to happen. Yeah, a very narrow door. There's probably someone to the sharp right of it. It's always the sharp right. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'll read a note somewhere someone left on the floor that confirms it, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So like I was thinking about disabling the notes because it was spoiling things, but it's like at this point, kind of knew what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Always check both corners, you know, always check the ceiling sometimes when you go into small dungeons. You get what I'm saying? But honestly, that's not necessarily a critique, because I feel like that happens in every game. It's just because I just got so used to the game, you start to understand a little bit more. So you know what to do, you know what to check, right? Look, I enjoyed Elden Ring mostly. I did get frustrated in many parts, but it gave me dopamine rushes when I beat bosses after trying and trying and trying. And I didn't want to give up. And I saw some people who were giving me feedback in the comments on the mentality I had about that. Like some of you guys said, like, Aku, if you don't enjoy the game, don't play it or force yourself to. You're 100% correct. I agree with you. And in the case where like, look, remember what I said earlier about how I feel like this game is designed to frustrate you. I feel like it's designed to you have to keep going back and back until you learn how things go, and you beat it then. Like that's just how it is. That's just how this game is. Like I think that the genre is called Soulsborne. Like you just constantly die. You face these difficult things, bosses, and you just constantly die until you finish it and you feel like you get like a high off of it. So I just felt like it was part of the game. I'm not going to quit because of the game being too hard when it's literally designed to be hard. Maybe, listen, if you quit this game, I won't take it personally. I would never judge you for it, because like I would say this game is not meant for everybody. It is hyped up a lot. I wouldn't say it's overhyped. I think it's a good game, but it's definitely not for everybody. Again, if you're going to quit the game for any reason, I would say for the fire giant. Okay, goodness gracious, and that was the worst. But hey, you see I came through though. I finished it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm probably gonna play Skyrim or do another Baldur's Gate playthrough next. Like, you know, I want to play while I'm familiar with that at this point. I played Elden Ring because someone told me to play, and I don't like playing games I just don't want to go into naturally, or like what I'm not comfortable with. By the way, fun fact, I'll put this in the pinned comment too, because I forgot to mention this earlier. The reason why it took me so long to beat this game is because, truth be told, I just didn't have the time and patience. I would play the game for like 2 to 3 hours to record footage. then I wouldn't play for like weeks until I needed more footage for YouTube videos. So like when some of you guys were giving advice or feedback, I wasn't going to even play the game for another week or so. Like you're saying like, Aku, do this in this battle. Hey, that footage was recorded that you're watching, that you're telling me to do this in. I already beat the boss. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't record gameplay footage on the same day I record videos. I'll record gameplay footage and I'll use that gameplay footage just to record videos for weeks. And that'll be it. You know what I'm saying? So like me playing Elden Ring was like something I did once or twice a month. You get what I mean? If that makes sense. So I actually dreaded recording footage because I felt like I was wasting time. I'm probably going to feel that way about Skyrim, Baldur's Gate 3 as well. But I think it has something to do with me just not being into games that much anymore. Maybe I was thinking about putting something else in the background instead of games too. Maybe I'll actually video edit for once. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my Elden Ring review or rant or, you know, my feedback on it. I wonder how you guys feel. It's game's like 3 years old or 4 years old. I don't know. Do you guys enjoy it? How is it to you guys? Anyway, this episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. I'm out.